if sine of alpha is equal to 8 over 17, and alpha is in quadrant 2, and they also tell you that the cosine of beta is negative 12 over 13, and beta is in quadrant 3, they ask you what is the sine of alpha plus beta. Now, whenever you see the sign with a plus in between, inside, we know that we need to be able to use our sum formula. So therefore, we're going to use sine, cosine, cosine, sine. This will be A, and this will be B. So this is the same thing as the sine of A, of alpha, multiplied by the cosine of beta. That's a positive, so therefore this is a positive as well for sine. Now the cosine of alpha and the sine of beta. So basically I just use my formula and I substitute sine of alpha, cosine of beta, plus cosine and sine. Now they only are giving you the following information. They tell you that the sine of alpha is 8 over 17. So I'm going to replace the sine of alpha with 8 over 17. And they also tell you that the cosine of beta is negative 12 over 13. So therefore now we need to be able to find the cosine of alpha and the sine of beta. I'm going to go and make my x and y axis for each one of them. So I can find, let's go and work with alpha first. I'll make my x and y axis, my y axis, my x axis. They tell you that alpha is on quadrant 2, so we're going to draw a generic triangle here. As long as it's a right triangle, don't worry about the size. And they tell you that the sine is 8 over 17. Sine is the opposite, 8 over hypotenuse, 17. Your sine is your opposite over hypotenuse, or your y over your radius. Therefore, I need to be able to find the missing side. I'm going to use my Pythagorean theorem, so that'll be c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. C will be 17 squared, a will be what I'm looking for, and b will be 8 squared. So therefore 17 squared is 289, a squared plus 8 squared is 64, minus 64 on both sides, so it gives you 225, and the square root of 225 will be 15. So therefore a is equal to 15. And now I can find my cosine. My cosine of alpha is your adjacent over hypotenuse. So it'll be 15 over 17. And yes, what did I forget? Can you guys find the mistake? Correct. This should be negative because it's going to the left. So just be careful with your signs, and that should be a negative, 15 over 17. So that'll be the main mistake that most of you guys will be making. Now I need to go through the same process, but now with beta. So they tell you that cosine of beta is negative 12 over 13, and it's on quadrant 3. So let's go and build our x and y axis, so y axis and our x axis. I'm going to make a right triangle on quadrant number 3. Don't worry about the size, it just has to be a right triangle. And the cosine of beta is negative 12, so it'll be 12 over 13, adjacent over hypotenuse, and that'll be negative 12. So now I need to find my missing side. Once again, I'm going to use my Pythagorean theorem, so it'll be c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. C is 13 squared, which is 169. A is negative 12 squared, which is 144, plus b squared. Minus 144 on both sides, so it gives you 25 is equal to b squared, so therefore b is equal to 5. Now remember that because this is going down, this will be negative 5. So therefore my sine is your opposite over hypotenuse, so it'll be negative 5 over 13. And from here, I'm just going to multiply it out. 8 times 12 will be 96 over 17 times 13 will be 221. And don't forget, positive multiplied by negative gives you a negative. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. 15 times 5 is 75 over 17 times 13 will be 221. And since I have the same denominator, I can go ahead and add them. 221 is the same denominator. Negative 96 plus 75 will give me negative 21. And that'll be my answer. So therefore my answer is letter B. So just be careful with your signs. That is the main thing that you have to be careful with.